Okay, welcome to Any Given Monday. Super excited to have you here. It is May. It is Small Business Month. It's also Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm LJ Finney. So if you're an entrepreneur or someone thinking about starting a business, this episode is for you. I want to talk about entrepreneurship generally. I'd say that obviously it's golf season, so we've got the background. I'll tell you a few more stories about the intersection of golf and business. And I feel like I should share some gems and tips with everyone. Previously I had the Tease Me podcast, which is still available on Anchor and on Spotify and on Apple. If you ever want to go back and listen to the episodes, I had 3 seasons, so a total of like 36 episodes. And we may revisit it one day, but right now, today, it's all about Any Given Monday. And on Any Given Monday, I will do this podcast or this LinkedIn Live or YouTube, wherever you're watching. But I will say that going forward on the next, at least for the month of May, I'm super intentional about highlighting what brought us to these moments or how we got here. And so if you're looking to your left and your right, or you're just thinking about your day and you're thinking about a Monday, um, what do you have planned? And what do you want to accomplish? So I say that because, again, May is Small Business Month and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you think about entrepreneurship, it's not just about the business, it's a journey that really forces you to face yourself, explore your beliefs like integrity, honesty, which kind of intertwine, the way you speak to yourself, um, and your ability to push through challenges. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you are on an island, and you are alone. There are other networks of entrepreneurs that you can connect with, but no one can tell you what to do for the business that you founded. And no one can tell you how to get to the next step. So you really are facing yourself. And no one tells you that when you start the business. People think you're just going to get a logo or get something trademarked, but you have to sell and you're constantly selling, and you're constantly building relationships and speaking to people to see if the thing that you do actually solves their problem. Um, and if it doesn't, then you either are telling yourself a story that they will want it. If I build it, they will come, maybe. Or you're experiencing a self-defeating attitude where you're like, I don't know if this is the right idea. I don't know if this is the right time. So there's so many conflicting emotions that come up as an entrepreneur, or even taking that first step into entrepreneurship, or even staying there. There are many people that have returned back to corporate jobs or their 9 to 5, and it's not because they failed. It is because sometimes the mental strain and drain that not having a predictable stream of revenue can place on yourself, can place on your family, can place on your peers, is heavy, and it's a lot to think about. So this month, for all of May, every episode, and I might even bring in some guests, we are focusing and exploring mental health, self-care, minus golf, accountability, that's my peer network, and all of these networks that I'm part of. If you see me posting, I'm always posting about this incubator that I went through or this program, because every form of accountability that you can find is going to be helpful, and you're at different stages in your business or your life, and you just need different things to hold you accountable outside of yourself, because that's actually an inside job. And then for entrepreneurs, we're going to start with the big question. The big question is, why do people leap into entrepreneurship? Like, why did I sign up to work what seems like 24 hours a day when probably could have had a 9 to 5 that was never really 9 to 5? And when someone leaves that security of a job, the uncertainty, and bets on themselves, or just decides I'm going to invest, I'm working hard for someone else, why not work hard for myself? Whether you fail or whether you succeed, whatever you believe, both are true. We've heard that saying before. So let's start by today, for the 18 minutes that we have, because I've already spent 5 now, we're going to talk about the mindset behind starting, maintaining, and just engaging in a business. And for all of the entrepreneurs that are listening, I'm just taking you back to your origin story, starting with why. Simon Sinek wrote that book. I love it. I think I have shared that I will reread the same books over and over again, because at every stage of your life, you may view the information differently. I'm literally rereading the Bible, and everything feels like a new story. Everything feels like a new engagement. That's my personal testimony, but I'm also rereading the 12-week year. We'll talk about that in a future episode. I'm rereading 10X is Easier Than 2X. Shout out to Jessica Johnson for giving me that book. But pause. 6 minutes in, let's talk about why people start a business. It's either their mindset, they've decided they want to do something different. They've got money saved and an idea that they want to invest in. It comes with some uncertainty, or they feel like there's a passion project that they have, and there are other people they believe have that same desire and passion. So, like, my passion has been golf for quite some time, and I believe everyone can access it and should try it. I mean, how often as an adult do you get to play outside? Our entire business is based on the premise that some of the things we did as children, while you put away childish things, yes, they also allow you to reconnect with your decision making process. And if you want to rewire your brain, you have to go back to like the origin story. When did you start believing or thinking or behaving in a manner that was counterproductive to your personal growth, to your ability to build relationships? I mean, we are constantly on the journey, and it seems very abstract, but training that you listen to can only change your behavior if you decide to do something. Otherwise, you're just listening to a lot of information. So I believe that without knowing your why, it can hold you back. But also just knowing that, like, if you're starting this business or you started it, just going back to like what you started and why you started can also help with your own mental health journey. I say that because it's easy to get lost in what other people believe. It's easy to get lost in what social media tells you the definition of success is. But when you started that business, you had a goal in mind. And whether it was to make millions, whether it was to have a strong financial exit, to sell the business, whether it was to have your name, whatever that is, going back to that and that origin story is very helpful. And it's true, it may have changed or evolved over time. But looking back can help you feel more comfortable in where you are. And that's good for your mental health. So, the other mental game of entrepreneurship that no one talks about is the imposter syndrome, the burnout, and the self doubt. I promise you that being able to say, I do this and I've done this well, and I know how to do it and I can do hard things is probably the most frequent self pep talk that I give myself. And I say that because I write proposals all the time, and proposals go into different spaces. They go into someone's inbox, and then they go into trash, maybe, even though the person asked for it. They go into the inbox, or they go into a folder of things that someone will get to eventually, or they go into a space where I've inspired someone to go and do it themselves, or they go into a space where someone just signs it and pays me the money. I love those moments. And the problem is that all of them are happening at almost the same frequency. And the goal is to get to the point where one is happening more. But imposter syndrome sets in at that point. I have the same conversations with many different people, but everyone is not my client. And so in some cases, when things go really well, you may feel like you don't deserve the success and that, you were blessed and fortunate, but it was a one-off. It's not a one-off. It comes from time and effort of repeating the same things and possibly not getting the outcome that you expect, but being able to say, you know what, that process worked. I'm going to create some standard operating procedures, or I'm going to follow these steps and repeat them over and over again. I'm going to hire someone to see if they can repeat my steps, and then I can scale. These are some of the strategies to help address imposter syndrome. But I will tell you firsthand, the barrier or the obstacle to or one of the challenges of maintaining your mental health during Small Business Month, during May, during the entire year or this journey of entrepreneurship is every time you face imposter syndrome. And I will tell you a personal example. I got a consulting opportunity for some change management work, went through an entire interview process, all of these amazing things, loved it, loved the idea of what I'd be doing. I'm like, I'm excellent at this work. But then when I got into the opportunity, it just felt like a lot of stress. And I thought, well, why is that? And so for me, my strategy we do strategic planning, we do coaching, I had to coach myself. I went back and I wrote a list of all of the things I've accomplished over my lifetime, looking back from where I started to how many large projects I've implemented, and doing that in partnership or in agreement with others, and being able to bring people together to get very difficult things done. And that was the reminder that I can do hard things. And from that point on, that project has been a breeze. It's been probably the one of the greater joys of change management work, of coaching, of just thinking about what's possible. And I just take it one day at a time. But it is a great opportunity. And imposter syndrome almost led me to believe that it wasn't. Burnout is the other thing that we face, because you are the only person doing the work. You are doing social media, you are doing marketing, you are doing sales, you're writing the invoices, you're balancing the books, you're writing the statements of work, you're writing the findings and follow-up reports, you are getting the evaluations, you are doing all of the things. And you still need to sleep, you still need to eat, and you still need to find your friends, and you still need to do things like for your own self-care. And that can be very difficult. It's very hard to draw the line, because if you're not working, then it's not getting done. And unfortunately, that's the mindset we enter into entrepreneurship with. I'm going to work hard, I'm going to get it done, I'm going to take that same work ethic and apply it in my entrepreneurial journey. The challenge is there's nothing stopping you from burning out except for yourself. Maybe your family is reminding you that they haven't seen you. Maybe you realize you haven't taken a vacation that did not include the computer and the phone. Maybe there are those small glimpses and reminders that you're not doing what you need for yourself. And whether that is, a day of self-care, a day of rest, whatever those things are. I will tell you, mine has been golf. But what I recognize is that if I'm going to the golf course and I'm helping people learn, then I'm not relaxing. I'm actually working. And so in the last season, I started realizing it a little more. But in this season, golf has been a me game. It's been my opportunity to reconnect with nature, reconnect with friends, reconnect with God, reconnect with my own personal things, and just personal struggles are really allowing you to see, am I where I was previously, or am I getting better in my ability to assess a space? Like, it's a burnout is real, and self-doubt kind of creeps in, because the stories we tell ourselves are probably are actually, that in honesty, they're going to be true either way, but they are often the stories that derail us from accomplishing our goals. So questioning your own decisions, questioning your judgment, questioning, is this the right thing to do? Questioning your why. If your why is rooted in something that you're passionate about, that you care about, then I say keep going forward. But if it is rooted in competition, negative energy, having a competitive spirit, if it's rooted in things that are just inorganic and unauthentic, it may not stick. But if it's rooted in your general curiosity, it can progress and help you propel forward and reduce the amount of stress, because then you're not going over these things in your mind over and over and repeatedly thinking about why and what, and if something is going to uproot or disrupt what you're doing. So in retrospect, the whole purpose of this episode today was to not just ramble or just talk about mental health and small business, but to give you some very clear strategies and thoughts and things to think about for the month of May as you support a small business owner. I say that, and I think I'll say it repeatedly, and I think I'll keep saying it. Support small businesses. They are working because they care about a problem. They want to solve it. And your support is good for their mental health, gives them confidence. It's good for the economy, because small businesses are the backbone of the economy. But then it's also an opportunity for you to use your money in a very intentional way, which is actually good for your spirit and soul too, I'll say. But you can't outwork a bad mindset. So for anyone listening, if you're thinking about starting a business or you're in your business, focus on your mindset. Find ways, strategies, and tools to hear your inner dialogue, and find training opportunities I do disc training, so that's a great opportunity. I do some golf training for groups and organizations, so that's a great opportunity. That's work. You pay me for it, and then I do it with joy. I would do it anyway, and I probably would do it for free. But right now, my self care includes playing more for me. But you cannot outwork a bad mindset. That is the first thing you should identify. If you wake up and you don't feel like doing it, or if you wake up or you are looking at the work and you don't want to do the hard thing, but you know that that hard thing on the other side of it and the other side of your comfort could be tremendous success, the work is in trying to assess, how do I feel today? When you wake up in the morning, choosing joy. You can choose frustration. You can choose everything that's wrong in the world, or you can choose joy, and you can choose to say, I get the opportunity to email. Let's see, what am I up to? These 1,325 people that I didn't respond to, or these emails. I think a lot of them are newsletters, and sorry if I haven't read your newsletter yet. I promise I will get to it because I always file it away. But I get the opportunity to read. Somebody didn't have an opportunity to do that today, and it's shifting the mindset around. I don't feel overwhelmed by it. I will get to it when the time is allowing me to do it, but I will get to those emails and look at them. The power belief of like whether you fail or succeed, either are true, and I think that if the gift I give you today, success is not about avoiding failure. You only fail when you stop trying or believing in yourself. And accountability in self is your secret weapon. Surround yourself with people who push you forward. People think I am tough. I'm, you know, I'm an accountable friend. I'm a person that is going to call you on things that if you said it and you put it out in the world, then I believe you. Why don't you believe you? I promise you, I will hold you accountable for things you said. So don't say it if you don't believe it. I have lost many of friends that have told themselves stories about the things that they say, and I ask them about them. I feel like that's what's made me a great project manager. That's what makes me a great coach. Last month you said these things. How are you feeling about those? Are they still your priority? I don't hold you, I won't make you feel guilty about it, but I am asking you about things that you've said. So that is one of the easiest ways. Find friends that will hold you accountable and call you on your nonsense. If you said you're going to send 5 emails a day, I said that. Call me on it. Call me on it because I said I would do that. So, I am trying to send 5 emails a day. Trust me, I have a stack of cards like this thick. Where are they at? They're over there somewhere. I am doing it. Hold yourself accountable and hold the people that you care about or that you respect or that are in your circle of trust or in your network accountable. You said you're going to network at 2 events a week. I said that. I did. If you see me out, it's because that's my goal, and I said I would do it. Hold the people accountable. Where are you at? Tag them, ask them, because that's what good business partners do, and that's what will help you move your business forward. So call to action. 18 minutes. I'm a minute over. Write down why you became or want to become an entrepreneur. Post it somewhere. Keep it as a reminder, because every time you get down or you start to kind of spiral or in a rabbit hole or try to do way too many things, because you can't be good at everything. So super focused is a key to success. Write down your why. And identify one belief that's holding you back. There are so many of these forums that help business owners. I've been part of multiple groups and multiple networks and multiple communities that have poured into me, and I need to make it my business to return back to them. But identify one belief that's holding you back and taking you from the next step. Mine might be that with wealth comes, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a belief, but your spirit is often tested when you're entering into new spaces. And so how will you maintain a true sense of self in those moments? Because the more money, more problems. That's probably a bad time to quote that, but that's still true. What's one belief that's holding you back? Probably that one. I learned it in the 90s and I still have it. And then commit to changing it. So committing to changing it is where I am shifting my mindset. That does not have to be my truth. That does not have to be your truth. So what can you do to shift the mindset of that one belief? Because the moment you're aware of it, self-awareness is the key, then you can regulate and self-manage it. What is something that you can do to shift your behavior and shift your mindset? Um, and look, if you're looking to or looking for real world strategies to strengthen your mindset, accountability, and leadership, we do exactly that on our executive retreats. We teach you how to work better together with your team, your C suite, your peer, your boards, and let's move forward. Contact IN-18 and we can create a transformational experience designed specifically for you and your team that pushes you forward. And of course, we're going to look for ways to integrate golf into that conversation. So drop a comment, share some information with me on how you manage your self-care in this entrepreneurial journey and what you're doing to support a small business this May. Talk to us, tell us, what are you doing to support a small business and what are you doing for your mental health? Thank you for joining us on this 18 minutes of leadership on any given Monday. Join us again next week. And yeah, let's talk.